How's it going, my lovely death disciples? I am the Shadowed Reaper, and today we're going to continue our the life and suffering of Sir Brante Let's Play, where last we left off, Grandpappy died. He died a most, death, where all his life he worked to being of nobility, only to then basically shit on the commoner lot that he came from, and from that day forward, basically treat everyone like shit, because he himself is shit, and also, because of the shit that he came from, decided to blame everyone else for being a piece of shit, and thus also try to burn the house down, and everyone in it, because he's a piece of shit. And from this, he died of a heart attack when the noble Volker Brante decided to catch him before the fire could even be lit, or well, it was already lit, but before it could set the estate on fire. So everybody's fine, except for him, but nobody cares. I mean, Volker's fine, actually. But Grandpappy, he is not fine. He is in fact dead. But nobody cares about him, except for some reason Stefan and Papa. They apparently care about him, despite the fact that he treated them also like shit. And, they had the funeral ritual where, Papa was most displeased that I gave back the dagger. And, yeah, apparently he was not happy that I refused the dagger because I gave the excuse that I am not of nobility. So, Dad was not happy about that, but, you know, he still loves me. It's just that one little thing where he was mad at me for something that was not my fault. And also because I would not honor a piece of shit. So, anyway, with that out of the way, let us go ahead and continue on with the story of Volker Brante and see how it continues. In our adolescence at the ripe age of 14 years old. Although maybe I shouldn't use the description. Anyway, let's see now. Okay. The fugitive girl. Grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. He also apparently talked from the beyond. And, he called me a coward, to which I ignored him because, again, he's a piece of shit. I do not care. Anyway, you still do your best to avoid the memory of Grandfather's last night and spend more time on the city streets with Thomas and, your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes as you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes and the terrifying, thundering hooves. Why did I decide to walk along this road exactly? Is it to replace one trauma with another trauma? A much worse trauma? I think I prefer thinking of the other trauma because it's where Grandpa died. Just saying. Anyway, you have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Arcnian family, the Otons, as a servant. I'm just gonna lower the music, the sound, and everything is just still a bit loud for me. Anyway, I'm probably gonna actually have the music remain at this level, but the sound is still a little bit loud. The sun has set. The pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Thomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavy embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He's an Arcnian. You overhear voices. Sir, the girl's not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must, but bring my servant back to me. She's here. Sophia ran away from an Arcnian? How can this be? There's only one place on the entire street where a person could hide. The abandoned Moral House. 4 houses away from yours. You head there, doing your best not to attract attention. I wonder why they couldn't find her, but yeah, I just somehow think, oh, there's only one place that she could have possibly hid. And everyone else is just stupid. It's like, we don't know of this one place that people could hide. But no. Apparently, I'm just too clever for this world. The lopsided house built of yellow brick has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. Ah, okay, that makes a little bit of sense. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She's almost an adult now, and her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you. Volker. Be quiet. They were looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Autumn. Might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. I'm just a thing to him. Just a toy to play with. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There's a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the man I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Ottens. They don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off, are you? The barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Auden's servants is so close you can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He notices something and calls for the others. There are more voices around you now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You've already heard this voice today. If you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven and you will go back where you were. You know it. And if you don't, I'll drag you up by the hair. The hilt of the young Archneon's sword bashes at the door. He is about to lose his patience for good. Oh shit. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Archneon's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? Sophia died her first death. Oh. The Archneon is within his rights. You will render him a service if you help him capture her. Try to stop Autumn. Okay, so she wouldn't have died her first death. If she didn't do that, I could try to stop Autumn. Why though? Why did she have to not die for me to stop Autumn? And I do not have enough ingenuity to help Sophia flee. Things have become too dangerous. You are not able to influence the fate of Sophia. I'm not gonna bring her back. There's nothing I can do. There literally isn't. They're not letting me. You swiftly turn away from Sophia's desperate gaze and flee to cower in a dark corner. A pained sigh reaches your ears. You do not respond. You need to hide. The front door slams open. Heavy footsteps echo from the entrance. The irate Archneon strides right past your hiding place, paying you no heed whatsoever. Where are you, you little tramp? There's no hiding from me. A shadowy figure streaks past you. Sophia? A high-pitched, furious scream slices through the silence. A blinding golden flash explodes in front of you. A sudden cascade of sparks burning through the darkness. As you blink, stunned, On's tall figure freezes and suddenly collapses. The golden sparks are still dancing before your eyes. A sudden pain seems to rupture from your skull from the inside. Through the light and the pain, you barely catch a glimpse of Sophia as she dashes past the prone Archneon and runs out the door. It takes Auden a few long moments to regain his senses. He gets up with a curse and runs after Sophia. So she's a witch too, eh? Get her, now! You hear men running, shouting, and barking orders on the other side of the wall. You lie there on a pile of old bricks, rubbing your eyes. A strange stupor slowly leaves you. You get to your feet and walk unsteadily out of the abandoned house. The danger is past. You walk back home, lost in thought. So Sophia's a witch? You recall how her magic bound Auden by the arms and legs, how he lost all control of his body. A runaway servant girl becomes the talk of the district for an entire week. You hear that Sophia has managed to flee the city. The Audens are furious. She is embittered. Sorry. Sophia vanished from your life just as suddenly as she came. You will not see her again for quite some time. I gained some willpower, though, so that's something. I'll at least be able to do something I like this time, probably. We shall see, though. 15 years old in the year 1133. You are about to turn 50, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. No, don't you dare leave home today. I forbid it. That dirty heretic Fotis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance over at each other again. Fotis? He is a patriarch, the head of the clergy throughout the entire province. That's the first time you've heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. This is interesting. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on someone. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear the ceremony for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Fotis? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estates. There is barely enough room for you to squeeze through the crowd. The crowd is gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. Not a moment too soon. From the roof, you see a tall silver-haired priest step onto the platform by the tree, dressed in the common black robe that looks far beneath his rank, yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind, the open book. This is the symbol of the new faith, the crowd whispers. But what is the symbol of the new faith? The patriarch holds his hands up to the sky and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Fotis speaks of a great mistake. We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all these years, the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Isatius. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar. Of this we have no doubt. But how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Isatius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Archnean, lowborn or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. The crowd at the silver tree listens to the patriarch speak in stunned silence. You glance at your sister. Her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Fotis' words. Then, suddenly, a hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields and the commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises an arm and inhales, ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform. A dirty beggar dressed in rags, a knife flashes in his hand. blade slices. Blood starts spurting from Photis's throat. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where he had stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence and the screams begins. The people are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order in the crowd, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in an inquisitor's cassock tries in vain to apply pressure to the patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the tree is in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying, shouting. Gloria tugs on your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while, so no one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening. But your parents discuss every little detail of the blood-stained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight? The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. Kinda suspicious. I kind of wonder if perhaps, I don't know, the suspicious, very mysterious, very, untrustworthy Archduke might have something to do with this. I mean, it's on his banner, for fuck's sake. He's not a trustworthy person! Can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Photis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the Patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, there's no hope for you to come back, not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, heads of the great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Photis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. He was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the old faith, one before the moment of his passing. That's kind of a bitchy move. Sorry, that was Mother speaking, and I talked like Father. Oops. She suddenly had a very low voice. But that would kind of, again, as I was saying, that would kind of be a bitch mood to be like, let me speak of these very passionate words that I truly believe in, and then suddenly right before you die, about that, I didn't actually mean anything that I just said. I was just doing that, just to inspire something exciting, just a little bit of gall, a little bit of fun, maybe a little bit of experimentation and thought for people to think about. A test, actually. I was testing the faith of your people. That's what I was doing. But yeah, that'd be a total bitch move, and I would not approve of such. Either you believe in it, or you don't. That's just how it is. But there's still hope for that. Church is, they are currently at the old faith, but, getting pretty close to that schism. Order has decreased by 1, so things are a bit discontent as of the moment, but fall of the old faith, fall of the new faith, I wonder. The prevailing religious school in the province of Malgra determines the doctrines, rites, and traditions practiced by the majority of the population. I wonder how things might go. I do wish to know more about this new faith and see which one I truly wish to support, because I do like the whole thing where you don't actually have to go by the laws, but I'm curious to see what more there is to it. And speaking of, I wonder if there's more that I can find as of the moment, but we'll see. Tomorrow you turn 16, the last night. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tibor's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel to Eterna tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there, and with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. The teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me, but nobody wants to talk about him. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the Blue Book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. In other words, suck it, Granddaddy. You didn't get to write the family name in the Blue Book. I did, bitch. So we'll see how that goes. Then Mother speaks to you carefully. There's worry in her eyes. But, Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stefan, your first newborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn a title for the entire Brante family. Mother, don't you take this from me. Don't you dare take this moment from me and try to upraise Stefan. I mean, I know he is technically your child by marriage, but please, let me have this. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the path of the priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sword. About that, Mother, you do remember I was top of my class, in history and in law. Not theology. I got an average in theology, I'm sorry. I know you want me to, but I did take law and history, and I aced it, and got average in theology. So, just saying. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their back. Just don't become a snoot like Stephen, and you'll do just fine. Don't worry, Gloria. I've learned about what not to be like as a nobleman. Besides, knowing about what was his name? El Brante? Knowing from him, I can be a nobleman and also nice, so there's that going for me. So, I am going to be the best queen I can be. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Volker. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There's no way you can stay now, you say. But when you come home, and you will come home, you tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eterna. This is it. All your lessons have been learned, all your things have been packed for the road. One will always be an eternal student. No one has finished learning their lessons. There is always a lesson to be learned. No matter who you are, no matter how old you are, whether you are officially a student or not, everyone is always an eternal student. And there's always time to learn new things. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read your fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all her time and you with her to write poems. Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions. The backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar. I can't spend time with Gloria? Aww. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms. Would you hesitate? Father, Mother, Gloria, Nathan? It will be a long time before you see them again. Who will you spend your last few hours at home with? Well, I can't be with Gloria, but that also would have made the decision a little bit harder because I love everyone, really. I mean, except that time Father decided to look at me very disappointed when I didn't have any other option than to refuse the dagger. That was the one time I did not appreciate how he was treating me. And then there's Stefan, but he's not an option here now, is he? Anyway, so, I think I want to spend time with, I'm gonna spend time with Mom. You open the door to Mother's room. She is kneeling in prayer. Her back is to the door and her whispers fill the room. She turns around and smiles gently when she hears your footsteps. You want to spend tonight with her before you leave. Mother reaches out to you. Volker, there's no need for anybody else to hear this. You walk silently downstairs, enter the empty sitting room, and light the candles. You are so close to the gods, my son. I knew it as soon as you were born. I saw them watching over you closely. Let us pray together, my son. May the twins know that you honor their every touch. You stand by your mother's side as she whispers prayer after prayer. First, she offers gratitude for the life and lot you have been granted. Then a plea to show you your path through the world, for it has no mercy. Next, a promise to heed and obey their every call. There is such fervor in her prayer, such piety. You know for certain as you pray with her that the gods will provide for you. They will ensure that your path is true, for there is no other way. Unless the goddess of chaos wishes to intervene in one way or another. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you are not tired at all. On the contrary, you feel lucid and clear-headed. Mother embraces you once the prayers are done. My son, life is hard, but it is just. More so for those who follow their lot. Remember, be humble in your words, and work hard. But before you go, Mother removes a pendant with the twins' cross and puts it around your neck. You return to your room and get into bed. You can see the shining pillar from the window glowing gently across the twilight morning sky. All your worries about the long journey are no more. You feel calm and serene. Oh, but she had to give me a pendant of the twins' cross. Oh, yikes. I gained +2 spirituality though, so I am a searcher. So, let's see if we can run things back a little bit. I have a little bit of spirituality, I have a little bit of nobility, and I have a little bit of ingenuity. So I have a bit of all of the paths. Okay then, definitely true chaotic path. Although maybe the true chaotic path probably would have been just be terrible at all of them, but... Which, I mean, technically I guess I am, but, you know. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Days of Youth achievement unlocked. Last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones count the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anizote. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived, with one death. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the school and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed firsthand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All this is yours now, forever. You saw death, lesser death, followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age, including that time that grandfather fucking murdered me. And yet you live on. You have a friend who has been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things. How to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. And now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? Alright, so, let's take a look over everything. Occupation, met Thomas. You've made a friend, a boy named Thomas. Matters of the heart. You experience your first romantic feelings, and it was with a woman who was just like, oh, I happen to know you now. By the way, guards, beat up this little piece of shit for dare touching my handkerchief, and now I'm not even gonna want that handkerchief because it was touched by a commoner. Yeah, real romantic. But then again, this being is working with the goddess of chaos, so you know, feelings are gonna be a little bit mixed. But please do not get into abusive relationships that are toxic and very harmful to your well-being. Please. This is a public service announcement coming from me. If it gets toxic, if it goes against your very well-being, if it is emotionally, physically damaging upon your being, do not get involved. Just be like, nope. It is not gonna work, so just stay out of it. Those are my words. Keep them in mind, forever and always, because they're important. Very important. Anyway, school begins. You started studying at the School of Sir Tibor and began to master the sciences. Even though we didn't learn any science stuff. But then again, it wasn't necessarily one of my strongest classes, if I'm being perfectly honest. Until later when I got into community college. Then I actually started to get good with science, but then again, it also involved me not having to learn every single subject at once. High school is an absolute mess. I do not understand American education systems, even though I was a part of it. Your grandfather, Sir Gregor Brante, left this world forever to meet the twin gods, and they whipped his ass, and whenever Volker Brante goes to sleep, the goddess of chaos just likes to take a moment in her time just to give a little whipping to Sir Gregor while he's at the feet of the pillar in eternal damnation, just to make the pain all that more unbearable and yet more satisfying. Anyway, departure from home. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eterna, the capital of the Empire. Next, we are honorable, we are bright, and we are a searcher. I like that. I do like that a lot. Okay. We are not noble or dignified, though, but we are getting pretty close on the spiritual and noble parts of this. So that's good. We have full of power, so we are no longer that exhausted anime character Kisuke Urahara or Stark. I remembered his name, by the way. We're not Stark. We are actually now full of power. We're good now. And we still died only once. And let us continue onward. And now we begin our youth. Praise be. At the age of 16 years old.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the Empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
I will be honest, though, I'm not really a fan of the narrator's voice. It just feels too drudgy, a bit too, I don't know, drawn out, or I don't know how to describe it. It feels dry, if that makes sense. Dry and, like, I don't know, drony. A bit robotic, not a whole lot of emotion in it. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see what we have. Leaving home. The driver flicks the reins. The carriage slowly sways as it starts moving away from your home. You stick your head out the window and wave goodbye to your family. Nathan is running after the carriage with Thomas's younger brother in tow, tears glistening in their eyes. I kind of feel bad that I didn't spend more time with Nathan. It hurts to leave your home behind. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. You have often read about it and heard stories from Father and Stefan. It is a city that surpasses Anizote enormously in terms of size, age, wealth, and beauty. But what is it really like? What kind of life awaits you there? What will you learn there, and where will your actions take you? You pass the old walls of Anizote. Somewhere within them is the old fortress. You and Thomas built together out of the old wooden planks, now left to the care of your younger brothers. Yeah, sorry about that, by the way, Thomas. That thing that happened years ago, I was a bit busy being top of my class in history and law. That would be such a bitch thing of me to do, really. Just be like that, and he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that. You two are adults now. Perhaps your fortress will crumble, now abandoned, or perhaps your brothers will continue what you started. Who knows? I mean, didn't the guards tear it down? I feel like it's no longer there at this point, but I don't know. Maybe Thomas did fend them off, all on his own, by himself, without his best friend there. Oops. You look down at your hands, knuckles covered in scars from street antics, fingers stained with ink. Mother gave you a cross to wear away from home, and now you can feel its warmth against your chest. Your family counts on you, even though they all wish a different future for you. But they are behind you now, in Anizote. From this point on, only you will decide which road you will take. This is the journey you prepared for throughout your entire childhood. Ahead of you lie many years in the capital, years that will determine your fate and your place in society. Ooh, okay, so now we're getting these, we're getting our personal qualities now adding up to different qualities. Okay, so we had a perception of 5 of being inquisitive, and represents how attentive you are to other people and the world around you, your ability to comprehend and learn. It affects your frame of mind and the skills you have when you grow up from our childhood. New personal qualities, these are personal qualities in adulthood, which you will use for the rest of your life. They are the sum of the qualities that you have gained in childhood and adolescence. And for nobility, represents how noble your thoughts and deeds are in your pursuits of the honorable ideals of the nobleman. It affects your chances of becoming a noble of the mantle and future skills that are crucial for the noble estate. So that leads up to diplomacy, which, by the way, I will most certainly say is quite a fascinating trait of mine, in case you didn't know. Along with also the ability to kill people, as you have probably seen in my Dragon Age Inquisition. But, you know, I'm also liked by everyone, you know, other than Corypheus, but who cares about him? And the Templars, but again, who cares about them also? But yeah, I am liked by everyone. I do everything pretty damn well, so diplomacy, I definitely will say, is a strong suit of mine. A little bit. Your proficiency in the laws of the Empire, as well as your connections and influence among the ruling elite and high society. It affects your ability to negotiate with people of importance, most important to the judge. Okay, so this is going to determine my occupation then. So currently I am unknown, but I am getting pretty close to promising. Influential is next, and received in elite circles, and then masterful diplomat. Now this, manipulation, okay. So, that also includes perception, but also has ingenuity. I am bright in that, but at the moment I'm a bit naive. Your ability to influence people by way of deception and trickery and use them to achieve your goals. Most important to the conspirator. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm close to being canny, but I could also get to clever, con artist, and then master manipulator. Oh, more perception. Theology, I am a neophyte at the moment. Your proficiency with sacred texts, comprehension of the divine law, and ability to construct and defend your own interpretation of the faith, most important to the Inquisitor. Okay, but I can work my way to being a prophet. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. Yes, I am the prophet of the new goddess, the goddess of chaos, and she will bring definite destruction to the order of the twins, only to have it rebuilt to continue the balancing cycle of order and chaos. I definitely could roll that with that pretty damn well, if I do say so myself. And next, what do we have? Determination and nobility. Valor. I am weak in battle. Well, I guess I probably should have seen that coming. What does Valor do? Your capabilities as a warrior. Your strength in battles and duels. It affects your ability to fight and command troops. Most important to the judge. I find it interesting that being able to fight is a thing a judge would do. Are judges also generals in this society? Interesting idea, actually. Okay, and I'm also really bad at scheming. Your talent for inciting riots, organizing ambushes, and plotting murders, assaults, and sabotage. It determines the success of your criminal undertakings, most important to the conspirator. Okay, so yeah, I'm not a criminal mastermind in the slightest. I am very inexperienced. Okay, that makes sense. Eloquence. Excuse me! I am by far one of the most eloquent of people. How dare you say that I am beneath that and say I am tongue-tied? Your ability to instill faith, to guide and lead people with your speeches, most important to the Inquisitor. But I can get silver-tongued, inspired speaker, and great orator. We'll have to work our way with that. And now we can continue, so let's see how things go from there. Okay. Chapter 3, Youth. You left your hometown to study in the Imperial capital. What life awaits you in Eterna? What will you study and where will you go? When push comes to shove, which road will you take? Your youth awaits, and the years to come will determine the nature of your destiny and your place in the society. Life paths that you will choose from this chapter. Path of the Lawless. You remain in the common estate with no choice but to fend for yourself and make your own way in the world. Remain a commoner. Path of the Priest. You enroll in the seminary hoping to become a priest and assume the lot of the clergy. Enroll in the seminary, theology greater than 10, eloquence greater than 10. Path of the Nobleman. Oh, wait, was there an or? Okay, so there is an or condition. Okay, good. Whew! Okay, that makes things a little bit easier. Like your father and grandfather, you enroll in the Imperial College, hoping to become a judge and a nobleman of the mantle. Diplomacy over 10, valor over 10. And then there's true death. Your earthly life is over. You leave the world forever and face the judgment of the twins. Either I can accept true death, or I have all 4 deaths. Okay. Events in the personal life of the hero that can happen in this chapter. Okay, there's a lot going on. Alice's rescue. You save the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. Alice's death is prevented. Collapse of the Lawless. You fail to protect the Lawless. The Empire utterly destroys the Secret Society. Secret Society is betrayed. Path of the Lawless. The Lawless at large. You rescue the Lawless, and the Secret Society continues its activities in the capital. Manipulation greater than 13. Outwit Philippe. Path of the Lawless. Bond of friendship. You and Thomas form an unbreakable bond of friendship. Swear an oath to Thomas Guero's a relation greater than 3, or Path of the Nobleman. Shield of the New Faith. Oh, okay, so that's the banner of the New Faith. A book. Actually, that's way better than the cross. Fuck the cross. Let's bring in the books, people. Let's get educated. You side with the New Faith and support the transformation of the Church. Willpower greater than 0. Side with the New Faith. Path of the Priest. Personal qualities in the chapter, so Diplomacy 8, Theology 8, Manipulation 7, Valor 5, Eloquence 5, Scheming 4. Really is a shame that I'm not very good at the whole plotting of people's assassinations and such. Probably would have gotten better if I was just, you know, able to... if I just didn't see Sophia's death the first time, which I didn't have enough willpower to do. Because bullshit. Oh well, it is what it is. Arrival in the capital. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Thomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Well, I mean, obviously, this is something I obviously would do, so you know. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Yes. I love it. Soon, I tell you. Soon we'll be there. And I'll learn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy. You'll see. And then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you are almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Archnea. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves its main city streets. Gilded moldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Archnean coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Thomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the streets and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then, your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitting clothing decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains, and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The street lights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples in noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city. So vast and unfamiliar, you take a look around determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open, and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in the colors of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you could still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly. Loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you will remember it for a long time to come. Well, first things first, I want to check over a few things. Personality, so this is what I look like right now. 16 years old, lowborn, choice of path is my occupation. I'm very naive in manipulation, but I am working my way to being canny. My eloquence, for some reason, is not that good. But I am full of power and willing to figure out what it is I could do. House of Brante, we do have a tarnished reputation at the moment. We have moderate means, unity is at peace. Family, grandfather's dead, she's dead. I should run into Stefan at some point, but we shall see. Let's see, relations. I have Thomas Guerrero, there's Sophia, who is a witch, she doesn't like me. Augustine L. Bourne, that's the guy who I was talking about earlier. Dorius Otten, don't know much about him other than that one time. Octavia Milanidis. Okay, so I remember she's the one that basically, told her guards to bitch slap me into the street, and then there's Jean, I forget about her. Young acolyte from Enizote, she studies at the Divine Seminary of Eterna and prepares to receive the lot of the clergy. She is a zealous adherent of the Old Faith and the teachings of Isatius. Ah, gotcha. And the province, what have we got? This is the wrong province. We're in the capital of Eterna, which is not in, Magra, I believe. If I can, yeah, we're all the way over here. All the way in the north. So, in Archnea. So, why does it still show Magra? Let's see, so, meet the noble youths. You forge a bond with a group of young nobles, listen to Arkwright's speech, visit the great temple of the twins, run after the students. I'm gonna listen to Arkwright's speech, see if that could help with my eloquent speech. You enter the establishment and find a free seat next to a group of well-dressed young men and women. Soon the hall fills with people, packed wall to wall. A richly dressed elderly man with a tenacious gaze and wrinkled forehead appears before the audience. My name is Gert Arkwright, and I'm an industrialist from Illyria. I should start off with a few short words about myself. Just like you, I was born in the common estate. My father was a hard-working miner. The mine broke his back and he died of natural causes. My mother used to say that was his lot. You work, you endure, and you suffer. Well, now I'm the owner of 5 ore processing factories, and every day gets me thinking. How come a son of a run-of-the-mill miner and a wealthy industrialist have to live by the same lot? Tell me this now. Is it just and fair that a man who owns a factory has the same meager rights as an ordinary farmer? If you own several stores and command the workers almost like a noble commands an army, must you really suffer like a lowborn man? Even if you can afford good clothing, good food, and good house like a nobleman, even if you live and stand closer to the nobles than farmers and tinkers and manservants. This introduction sparks a debate. Most of the people in the hall side with Arkwright. They say that well-to-do people need not live by the commoner's lot. There are outcries defending the holy function of the lots, but they are quickly snuffed without support. For the first time in your life, you see people daring to defy their lot in public. Emotions soon begin to run high. More and more people shout words of opposition to the current order of the Empire. They argue that industrialists, merchants, and other well-off people are no worse than the nobles and ought to have their say and their own rights. Order, my good people, order! Now's not the time to rebel. If any of you are itching for weapons, you should leave our company and proceed to the gallows on your own. We are here to work out through peaceful debate a solution for this gross injustice, and then submit our solution to the Great Imperial Council. The gathering ends in the small hours of the night. The majority come to an agreement. Their idea of the best solution is to introduce a new social class, a separate estate that would bear some of the nobles' rights and freedoms. Unfortunately, there are too few of us to even convince the Great Council to have our proposal seen, but we will not stop until we prove to the nobles and the Emperor that we are rabble no longer. Manipulation +1. Ooh. Eloquence +1. Willpower -5. Okay, well, fair enough. But I have better eloquence and better manipulation. You make your way back to your lodging room. You are absolutely shocked. There are so many people in the capital who openly defy the laws. How different they are from the listless, lethargic people of Anizote. You think of Gloria before you drift off to sleep. She would have been overjoyed to be present at a gathering like this. You arrived in Eterna, the ancient capital of the Blessed Archnean Empire. Okay, so now am I able to see the province of Eterna? Nope, it's still Magra. Okay. Luke's sermon. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds the banner of the New Faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a gray-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face. The face of the late Patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with the coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. He casts a stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the Shining Pillar. Exactly 1 year ago, we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the New Faith. Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Isatius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path to the gods in their own hearts instead of blindly following the laws, to seek answers in the lives of the twins and their own hearts rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis, we were able to see the truth. Through his death, we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Isatius' lies. And now, I bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Archnean from a great dynasty, and the Patriarch of Astinia, has joined the New Faith himself. And through this we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers and sisters. Don't forget sisters. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins, not for the lot they were given as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the New Faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Diamant joining the New Faith is stunning. If an Archnean from a great dynasty has sided with Photis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the New Faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides, inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all.
I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies, Patriarch Luke. Full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once.
Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily. We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Archnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots.
Inquisitors, bring those who may yet listen back to their lots and leave the others to the champions of faith.
The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who chose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it into smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words despite yourself.
My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust. But I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see their lights in your eyes, light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son?
You feel no malice in the words of Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his law to aid you, to guide you away from the error and set you on the path to the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. You refuse to be ordered around by him. It is not the clergy's place to give orders. Listen to his counsel, you accept the Inquisitor's counsel, debate him. You argue against the Inquisitor in favor of the new faith. Surely, if the teachings of the old faith can stand, then a reasonable discussion should be able to hold, correct? You start debating the Inquisitor, mustering all your knowledge and awareness of the new faith. The lots are an error introduced by Eusebius. They are incorrect, obsolete, and contrary in the way of life of the modern empire.
Please, hear me out, my son. In these difficult times, people of your estate are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable, and so is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the hearts of all people, to bring the words of the twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspect of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet.
Now, by pursue, would that happen to involve book burning, Jeremiah Hogg? I certainly hope it doesn't.
Arrest or execution is our last resort.
Okay, if your words mean anything, then you wouldn't be arresting or executing. Otherwise, you would simply just convince people through peaceful means. But no, you'd rather have it be either convert to the one true faith or die. And I'm afraid I do not follow that philosophy. So I humbly must disagree, if that is the way you will take it.
Reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. Do not resist this, but rather consider the following. Did the patriarch speak the truth?
You answer that Luke's sermon was far more convincing than Father Jeremiah's words. Everyone blindly heeds the writings of Asatius, who is but one man who decided he had the right to define the lives of generations to come. But people have the right to free will, you say. They have the right to choose their destiny and bear the burden of their choice. Father Jeremiah sighs in response.
It saddens me to see that you have been led astray so easily. Yet you are young. You should seek to learn the truth on your own. If you truly believe you can interpret the will of the gods, perhaps you should become a priest yourself. If you come to the Divine Seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there. I am always happy to see students of considerable talent, even if they have been led astray. But for now, you should leave this place. You will learn nothing by facing the champions of faith.
With this, Father Jeremiah leaves you and proceeds further. You leave the square freely, your dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the Order Inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. More eloquence. Hooray for me. You walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. Your family sent you to earn a noble title, but you have an opportunity to become a priest of the old faith or the new. If you see your destiny in service to the gods, no one has the right to stand in your way. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the true faith, or the new faith. Haven't gotten to that part quite yet, but we'll see. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Archnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Archnia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant, hailing from the great Archnian dynasty. He is the de facto ruler of Asnia province, adored by his subjects. He has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Asnian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. Just the people of the new faith? Interesting, but okay. The schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully, there has been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith, born from the death of Patriarch Photis. It grows stronger by the day. And now we reach schism! And we also have a discontent order once again. Okay, and with that, I've actually gone a little bit over the time, but we will go ahead and we will end the video here. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Give that like button a stab if you did. Subscribe if you want more death in your life. Be sure the bell is tolling for thee. Until next time, rest in peace. Bye! Enjoyed today's video? Well, there's plenty more for you to enjoy here. And if you also want to support this small channel, then there is also my Ko-fi, which is available, as well as a Twitter thread that gives you my commissioning info. And if you'd like some traditional art or literature, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Thank you for enjoying the video and for your viewership.